Good day and warm greetings from Abhinav and Ajay Sharma. Abhinav has been in immigration consulting business since 1994, and as the founder I'm pleased to say that this has been a very interesting, fruitful and learning journey. Over last close to 2 decades, we have assisted thousands of candidates in their immigration dreams and destinations, and it will be our pleasure to be part of your immigration aspirations also. Today, I'm going to talk about the immigration options that are available to businessmen and investors worldwide. And basically, when you're talking about immigration for businessmen and investors, there are two kind of programs that are available for countries, in the countries worldwide, in the major countries worldwide. There are two key kind of programs that are available for businessmen and investors. One program is called a passive investment program. So passive investment program is a program where you invest a fixed amount of funds in an identified immigration program, and you get those funds back from the invested agency after a specified period of time, and in most cases you do not get any return on the amounts that you invest in these particular programs. You get an unconditional visa in most cases, and in some cases conditional visa, immigration visa. Typical passive investor programs for immigrants worldwide would include the hugely popular Canadian Immigrant Investor Program and EB5 visa for Canada. You have in Singapore Global Investor Program, and Australia and New Zealand also have some programs that are passive investor programs. Even UK has such a program, but the qualifying requirements and as well as the investment of requirements of programs for UK, Australia and New Zealand and Singapore are very high and really deterring. The sheer amounts are running into millions and millions of dollars, are deterring for any ordinary investor to really speaking even consider those investor programs. So Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, UK, the qualifying as well as investment requirements are very high, so I'm not going to spend too much talking about it. But if you're interested, you can always write to me at ajay@abhinav.com or simply visit our website and you'll find most of the information there. The popular among the passive programs are Canadian Investor Program, Canadian Immigrant Investor Program and EB5 Visa to USA. So you should look into these programs carefully, because once you have these visas, you can do anything after landing in these countries, including doing nothing if you don't wish to and you just wish to live off your wealth. Even that's permitted. So the most of our cases, whether it's EB5 visa, whether it's Canadian Immigrant Investor Program, your cost of acquiring the visa is normally the return that you lose over the period while your money is not returned, and normally the exit is 5 to 6 years after you invest those funds, and they are normally returned back to you without any interest or without any return on money. So that becomes your cost of acquiring visa. But these two programs are excellent programs for those who wish to go through passive immigrant investor programs. Then you are talking of active immigrant investor programs or business programs. These active business programs requires you to actually speaking do a genuine business after you are granted the visa, and they expect you to do some minimum investment that should be invested in a business in that particular country and including that particular state or province. It requires you to generate certain minimum number of prescribed jobs. It requires you over a period of time to show profits in business in most cases, and it requires you to make that country or that particular province or state your home to ensure that your visa continues to be valid. Keep in mind that in most cases when the options are tremendous, like in case of Canada, you can file under entrepreneur program but that program, I may add, is closed as of this moment. It's not accepting any new applications pending review of qualifying and selection criteria. You could apply under Canada Business Provincial Nominee Programs for businessmen. There's some very popular programs. British Columbia is a very popular program, and in British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program for businessmen, normally you're expected to have a net worth of around $800,000, investment requirement of around $400,000, and then you're required to make a deposit. That's an optional deposit. You make a deposit of around $125,000, which is refunded back to you once you meet the business plan requirements after the visa has been granted to you. Normally in all the programs, you have to give in a business plan, your proposed business plan, which you will follow after you land in that particular province. So British Columbia is an excellent choice. Vancouver is well known among the best weather conditions in the world. But keep in mind that these are conditional programs, that if you do not do the business as promised, do not create the jobs as promised, then your visa can be revoked in some cases, and in other cases you may lose your deposit. Either both the things can happen or one of the things can happen. So either way, unless you really speaking want to be an active businessman who can make the required promised committed investments as well as create required jobs, these provincial nominee programs are not normally recommended. Well, you have other popular programs also. There's a Manitoba program for businessmen and investors, provincial nominee program, with again some specified minimum investment requirements as well as a business plan requirement. Majority of programs also expect you to conduct an exploratory visit to their province for a minimum number of days and meet various stakeholders, including the government agencies, during your visit to that particular province. Saskatchewan is another very popular program. The good thing is, when you deal with Abhinav, we can guide you on all the provincial nominee program for businessmen across Canada and guide you and choose which one could be better off for you, depending on your personal net worth and your ability to manage businesses. The other options for those who want to be in active business immigration programs, file their applications, is UK Entrepreneur Tier 1 program. Under this particular category, you are required to show funds of at least 200,000 sterling pounds and invest the minimum that particular amount in a British business and generate minimum number of jobs. That could be as many as 3 jobs to really speaking get confirmation as a resident. Initially, the UK entrepreneur visa is just issued for 3 years and 3 months, 3 or 4 months, and then once you show evidence that in the first 3 interim years you did start that business, you did invested the minimum amount, you did invest, create the required jobs, then it's further extended by 2 years or entrepreneur visa, and then after 5 years you can apply for indefinite leave to remain and you become a UK permanent resident. So typically UK Entrepreneur is a very good program with very precise qualifying terms, and for those who want to be an active businessman in UK Entrepreneur Tier 1 program is an excellent choice. Another program that's considered as an active business investor program is programs for Australia, business provisional visa categories. And these business provisional visa categories, typically you have to identify the state in Australia in which you would like to stay. You apply for state nomination. Normally, when you apply for state nomination, you file in the business plan, the business that you would like to do in that particular state, identify the investments, the number of jobs it will create, and how it will contribute to the Australian and the state economy. And once the state accepts your plan and nominates you, then you file in for your immigration. And the provisional business immigration visas to Australia are not permanent resident visa, and that's very important for you to realize, because that's basically issued for a 4-year period. It's a 4-year multiple entry visa. That visa permits you to settle down, make Australia your home, and start doing business, because it's not a permanent resident visa and does not offer you rights of a permanent resident either. So you go during those 4 years, start and initiate your business, make Australia your home, And after a couple of years of running and taking over and running Australian business or starting a new enterprise, having available the financial statements of your business while you're in Australia, of evidence of the jobs that you created, evidence that you did follow up the business plan that you committed that you will follow, they'll go ahead and confirm you as a resident. But meeting those requirements is very, very important before they'll confirm you as a permanent resident of Australia. Keep in mind, you're not a permanent resident visa holder, you just have a 4-year visa. So should you not meet the investment and job creation requirements or not running a legitimate business, then simply put, after 4 years you have no status in Australia and you come back to your country. New Zealand has a similar program, it's called long-term business visa. So only thing is it's a little bit more flexible than Australia because it's initially issued for a 9-month period, and during those 9 months you can even go ahead and buy an existing New Zealand business by spending at least 500,000 New Zealand dollars, and as soon as you give evidence that you have invested at least 500,000 New Zealand dollars in a existing New Zealand business or started a new business with that minimum amount, but preferred is investing in an existing business, that $500,000. It shows that that the new jobs are being created. Then you can apply for permanent residence visa straightway under the Entrepreneur Plus category. So long-term business visa is your route to making a permanent residence application in New Zealand under the Entrepreneur Plus category. And that there have been instances where a person can become a permanent resident of visa after going on long-term business visa, becoming a permanent resident visa holder in as little as 1 year also, provided he does everything right under guidance of right people. So long-term business visa is a good place to start for those who are interested in settling down in running an active business in case of New Zealand. Well, you can also look at Lithuania as a destination for Europe when you're talking of business and self-employment programs, and that's a most interesting program because that program does not really requires very extensive investment, and even those with low capital capability can go and make Lithuania their home through temporary resident permit, which is issued for 1 year and then extended every year up to 5 years, and finally leading to residence after 5 years in year 6. An excellent program for those with limited financial abilities, but at the same time motivated enough to make Europe their home. So this is a summary of some of the programs that are available for businessmen and investors. You can also look at Singapore Entrepreneurs program. In that Singapore Entrepreneurs program, you commit again to a certain business plan of what you intend to do, how you are going to create jobs, and after you create those promised jobs and after you do that minimum promised investment, over a period of time you can become a Singapore resident. So Singapore Entrepreneurs is another program. I would say that unless one is not really speaking, because Singapore is an expensive country, so unless one doesn't really has in mind of spending close to, in my opinion, $500,000 to $1 million funds, because that's the amount you will need to invest if you need to employ a certain minimum number of people over a period of time to be able to apply for residency. So, there are certain minimum business spending requirements also under Singapore Entrepreneurs. So I would say unless someone is not really going with a capital base of $500,000 to $1 million, and that's a minimum Singapore dollars, one should not really attempt Entrepreneurs. You can also look at Hong Kong Capital Entrant program for businessmen and investors, under which likewise you can go and start your business enterprise and become a Hong Kong resident. Remember, however, that in Hong Kong you can never become a citizen, you'll always just stay a resident, so it has its own limitations, the facilities that it's going to offer you over a period of time. This is a summary of the business and investor programs that are available across the world. We at Abhinav are specialists in guiding our clients on business and investor programs, and we guide our clients across the world. Do feel free to send me a brief mail at my email ID ajay@abhinav.com, that's ajay@abhinav.com, and I'll be more than happy to guide a senior counselor to provide you immediate assistance. Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you, and We wish you a very, very happy new year and many new years to come. Thank you.